This film also had the creepiest Santa. And you could,
Oh my god,
like,
yes!
I'll pick Andrew Garfield.
Peter 3.
Peter 3. I believe I put that on.
Ooh, that comic book filter.
This green ball?
This green tennis ball is Vecna, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about. My kind of cool, kind of not cool, kind of plain mug.
I think your mug looks cool.
Thank you. It's like one of those ones that, like, it's so funny. The label underneath says like microwave safe, oven safe, freezer safe, and dishwasher safe. I'm like, okay, oven maybe I can understand, but freezer? Why would you put a mug in the freezer?
Make your cold drinks even colder. Because I mean, again, sorry everyone for that very awkward fashion show, but Kendra gifted me this beautiful Scooby-Doo tumbler for Christmas. And as we were reading the instructions, it says, hey, if you want to keep your drinks colder longer, put it in the fridge. Now, I wouldn't put mine in the freezer, but maybe that's why maybe some people put that mug, make it extra cold and then want to keep their drinks cold longer.
I guess.
I just feel like, unless like, because that one's not, I don't know, that one doesn't strike me as like one I would take traveling,
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, oh, that's kind of weird. But I guess if you're at home and want to keep it colder longer,
Right?
whatever.
I don't know. Yeah.
I guess we didn't really have a theme for today's episode, but I guess because it's the new year, we could talk about any goals we have. Just because
Sure.
we're talking about fitness, that was probably one of the things I wrote down for myself was, be healthier.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to focus too much on, like, obviously I'd like to lose weight, but I don't want it to be maybe my central focus,
Yeah.
which is very difficult to do. But I'm like, you know what? New year, new me. I'm gonna try.
Right?
I'm gonna try for it.
Right?
But yeah, do you have any goals for this year? I know, like, doing New Year's revolutions. The New Year's revolution. New Year's resolutions are like, it's not seen as not taboo. What am I trying to say? I know they're just a lot of people say like they're kind of stupid because you don't really follow through with it. As I was sending you all those gym memes on January 2nd, classic, love them.
It's kind of like it's supposed to make you feel like you're doing something, but because you end up always falling through either a month or sooner into it, then
I think that they actually said statistically, there's always a big drop off.
Yeah.
Which I mean, kind of makes sense because I mean, if you think about it, like again, let's go with the example of like trying to lose like weight or be healthier, right? January's cold. Maybe unless you live in a place where it's warmer. Where we live in Canada, it'd be cold and it'd be snowing. So it's like, do I want to shovel snow to go to the gym? No.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, then I have to do it at home and maybe you're not always accountable. And then it's just to be like, it's so funny that we're like, hey, new year, new us, we're gonna be better. And like the darkest, coldest time of the year, So I think maybe that also plays a factor of like trying to, maintain it,
Yeah,
I
don't know.
Cold here, and it's like, why would I want to do that when I can just bulk up on food and snacks and sleep?
Well, and there is the scientific study, like there is some statistics around. I mean, when you think back, like, or you think about animals, nature, and I'm sure if you think back to caveman times, we would hibernate just as everybody else did in the wintertime. That was what you did to survive, right? So clearly that's still ingrained in us somewhere. And I guess maybe because within the last 3 years, I don't know, this is just my observation of it, but within the last 3 years, we've now been able to, like, with working from home and everyone's kind of more like home based now and stuff like that. You don't have to go out as much as you were supposed to before. So I think that kind of hunkering down, staying nice and cozy gets amplified even more. I don't know. And then
I mean, yeah,
I don't know, right? But
why would I leave my house? That seems silly.
Right? But I do think there's something to be said about like not pushing yourself to go ham in the wintertime when it's really cold and stuff like that. Like obviously if you listen to your body, listen to, your energy, if you feel like you can do it, go for it kind of thing, right? But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I just feel like there's something to be like there's a reason why we feel the way we feel and we feel unmotivated in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of factors. It's not just that someone's procrastinating or they're lazy and stuff like that. The weather, the lack of
Mm-hmm.
sun, like there's all different factors that play into why people drop off their resolutions, right?
Well, I also saw something where it's like, hey, we always are like, in the summer, fall, and winter, like, yeah, like we're told, like, be productive, always be doing things. We never take time to just be like, okay, let's just breathe, relax.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that sometimes it doesn't feel like you can, but even just maybe taking a couple days in winter just to be like, all right, I'm not going to be productive today. I am
Mm-hmm.
just going to chill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna relax and just because it's in the long run it'll be just more beneficial. But
Mm-hmm.
as I, was just telling Kendra, I find it very difficult to be like, yeah, I'm gonna take a day and just not do any, or at least a huge amount of screen time and
Mm-hmm.
like give my brain and eyes a rest. But then it's like, no, I gotta do this. I have to work
Mm-hmm.
on this. I gotta be doing this.
And that's the biggest
Very hard.
factor too is the guilt, right? Because I know even
Hmm.
myself too, if there's just like a day where I'm like, I just really don't want to do anything. I just need to relax. I just want to chill, just like turn my brain off and stuff like that. But you get that like guilt being like, well, you should be doing this and you have this to do and this, that, and this and that. And
Hmm.
it's like I feel like as much as it sucks and you feel like, oh God, people are gonna either myself or people are gonna judge me for like not doing anything today. I feel like sometimes you need to do that, I guess.
Hmm.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes you just have to have moments of doing nothing. And it's apparently a thing for creatives too, especially like it's really healthy for creative types to spend time doing nothing because that's where you get your creative inspiration back from when you're not
Oh
distracted
yeah,
by stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guilt, the
Mm-hmm.
guilt. Trying to balance that is ridiculous.
Right.
But yeah, I was just actually gonna pull up my goals list for this. I had my, as usual, I made myself like a little checklist because
Heck
apparently of
yeah.
that A-type personality. I'm like, I need to have a checklist. But yeah, I made some overall goals for myself. But then I, as usual, try to do like I'm like, okay, what am I focusing on in January? But then I
Mm-hmm.
also, what I almost rarely never do is I was like, I'm gonna look back on my year and see like what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently I did a lot. Enough that I filled 2 and a bit full pages of stuff
Nice.
of like, yeah, I don't know. I wrote down things that I did, big, small,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was. Because again, we could all speak on this. I feel like I'm always like, it's any point of the year, maybe I'm like, I didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there's this like whole thing. It's like, I'm wasting my time. Like, I didn't do anything in life. And it's like, oh shit, I did a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I can just, pat myself on the back and be
Heck
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's okay.
Celebrate the small
It
wins.
is
Hell yeah.
okay. Right. So I'm hoping in doing that, that might help me with feeling that way this year. But again, first time attempting it.
Yeah.
So
See how it
we'll see
goes.
how it rolls.
I just remember you saying last year that you were like, I want to do more traveling, and you did a lot of traveling this year. So
I did do some traveling.
yeah.
So mm, that was the other thing I was going to write down. But I think this year it's definitely going to be a little more chill. I
Yeah.
think my goal this year is just to save, because then the next year I'm going to travel.
Heck yeah.
Gotta always have a
Right?
year
There's
off.
there's got to be a balance. There's got to be a balance.
Gotta save and
Right?
travel.
And you could even too still technically travel, but you could keep it local so that it's
Oh yeah,
less
that
money, right?
is yeah, that is the intention. Because I
Hell
think
yeah.
the only biggest trip that we're gonna try to do, me and my girlfriends, is my
Mm-hmm.
friend has plotted out where all like the ghost towns are. There's like a
Yeah.
route from here, from Alberta to Saskatchewan with a whole bunch of ghost towns.
Well, I wonder if the one that I was talking about is on that list then too. I'll have to send it to you.
Maybe. We'll have to see. We'll have to
Yeah.
see. But then yeah, we're gonna try to go to the Saskatchewan sand dunes.
Ooh, that's cool.
Right? So
Yeah.
I think that'll be a nice little weekend trip. Again, nothing too crazy, but I
Yeah.
think a lot of cool stuff to
I
do.
like
So
that.
fingers crossed.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, my other thing was to try to read 12 books this year. Once a month, I think is doable.
Nice.
And I understand I probably won't maybe read a book a month, but maybe I'll read 2 books in 1 month, or and more and less. So
Wow, you're better than me.
ebbs and flows, ebbs. I just tend to read more on vacation than I ever do
Yeah.
at home. So
Mhm.
that's why it might be in the summer I might have more in because I'm going to visit family.
Yeah.
But
I've been trying
anything
to
worthy.
incorporate making reading more of a bedtime routine thing for me.
Oh, that's
And
right.
yeah, it's been good because I actually look forward to like winding down for bed and like just having that time to read and stuff like that. And I have my little app that like you can set your goal for whatever how many books you want to read for the year. And then you can like
Ah.
add the books, you can keep like update how far along you are in the book so it'll like show you
Mm,
your progress and everything and then you can write a review on the book afterwards if you want and yeah, it's a pretty
that's
good app.
handy.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Goodreads.
Oh yeah, I think you've told me about that before.
Hmm.
And then yeah, I think the other thing I had down was trying to have like one like creative day for myself, whether I go out and take pictures or something, just
Yeah,
go out and do that.
that's a great idea. I love it.
But yeah, I feel like I've just been chatting all about me, the most
It's
important person in the room apparently. But what about you? What are your goals or hopes for 2024?
well, I think my main one is just to create more balance, kind of like what we were talking about, because
Mm,
I feel like a lot of the same goals that you have, I also have too. But
hell yeah.
I feel like because like you were how you were saying, which kind of got me thinking, you were saying like, you want to focus on like exercise and weight loss and health and stuff like that. And it's hard to not like let that be like the forefront all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you mean by that because it just feels like that seems to be the only thing there, or it's like the top priority all the time.
Yeah.
And so I think for me at least, what I'd like to try to do is instead of because I'm gonna try figure out the best way to explain it, but
You got this.
it's like your health obviously is important, but
Mm-hmm.
you want it to be um I don't want to say it's not the most important thing because obviously it's super important, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's not the only important thing. I feel like you
Yeah.
kind of have to balance everything because if you lean too heavy on one thing, everything else kind of it's like a weird pie chart
Yeah.
almost, right? It's like if your whole like one section of a pie chart is just exercise and health and stuff like that, but you're not
Mm-hmm.
tending to like your creative side, resting, connections with others and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, then it just like diminishes completely, right? So I think
Absolutely.
I think that's kind of going to be my whole goal for this year is just to like find more balance in everything and then not put so much emphasis on one thing and but at least ones that I
Mhm.
maybe haven't put enough focus in previous years or want to try doing more in, I'm going to like make an effort to like try to fill those pieces of pie in my chart a little bit more.
Because I'm gonna fill these holes up. And I was like, yeah, you fill them holes up. You balance those holes, you fill them holes. Hell yeah. I think
Right?
that's a good goal to have.
And I feel like the other thing that's kind of it's gonna inspire or kind of been inspiring me this year too, because as we've talked about and we've kind of agreed together, like sometimes you just feel like your creativity just gets so depleted and you just don't have any new ideas or motivation to do anything.
Hmm.
And I feel like part of that is pressure and obviously influence from things you see on the internet and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
so my kind of I saw this really cool quote a while back that I've been kind of like trying to remind myself of whenever I kind of feel that overwhelming like oh I have pressure to create kind of thing. And I think it was more geared towards like the question of where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Mm.
A dreaded question that we all hate.
Favorite
And
interview
they
question.
right? And they said instead of answering or instead of asking someone where do you see yourself in 5 years, ask them or ask yourself like what
Hmm.
sort of things are you interested in that you want to like kind of explore more right now. And I
Hmm.
kind of like because it takes the pressure off of like trying to figure out where you are in 5 years and it allows you to kind of just figure out what
Yeah.
you're interested in right now, what kind of things you want to explore right now and go and check them out.
Hmm. Well, I think also, um, not that I don't think there's anything wrong with being like, hey, I have a goal. Again, I just said I had a check sheet. So, like,
Hmm.
if you have like certain goals that you're like, yeah, in 5 years, this is where I want to be, kudos. I just find, especially again with in terms of weight loss, I will again like make myself benchmarks of like this is what I want to lose in 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
And then I get a little too fixated and then be like, I need to lose minimum of this much a week if I'm gonna meet this goal. So then maybe the first 2 weeks I'm great, but then after that it's like I didn't meet it. I'm failing
Mm-hmm.
already. And it's like I just started. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a-okay. So that's why I just don't like I kind of agree. I just don't think that will work for me. And that's why this year the overall goal is just to like be healthier and be more active and just try to change little things in my life. And obviously, if the result is weight loss, great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna try to not fixate too much on a number,
Yeah.
especially when it's like, oh, I have an event coming up in 6 months in the summer, or yeah, get my summer body ready, get bikini body ready,
Mm-hmm.
because then immediately I'm thinking of the numbers. I'm thinking of like how much, and it's like, okay, no, it's it's eating my brain too much. It's too
Yeah.
much for some reason. In other normal circumstances, it's great. If I'm like editing a video, I can be like, okay, here's my kind of mental deadlines I need to meet, or here, like other things in my life, it's great. But for some reason, for this, for my health, it does not work.
Yeah.
So trying to accept that is very difficult, but you gotta try something else,
Right. And I feel like factoring in too, like knowing that you're not going to get the results you want every day all the time. Sometimes you're
Mm-hmm.
going to dip, sometimes you're going to, have a great trajectory upwards, and sometimes you're just going to kind of like plateau for a bit. And I feel like factoring
Right.
in like your mental health too at the time, knowing like where
Mm-hmm.
you're at, or like what situation you were in, and being like, okay, yeah, so I was like pretty down that time, so that explain or could partly explain why that happened,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah.
I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I have a pretty regular ass scale at my house. But there are some that are like more, geared towards like what's your muscle mass.
Oh yeah.
Because again, maybe if you gain weight, maybe it's not necessarily fat. It
Yeah.
could be muscle,
Yeah.
or it could be bloatiness. Maybe you ate too much, a day that fucks you up, or if you have too much liquid. Like it's so fucked up.
So
But
complex.
right? And
Yeah.
so trying to give myself that leniency this year, I'm hoping will help, but it's hard. It's because I know some people are like, oh, I just don't weigh myself. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't try to do it to, like, I know like some people where it's like, I weigh myself every day. No, I would say I'm not a doctor, but don't fucking do that. That is
Hmm.
absurd. But weighing myself once a week is more A, manageable, but B, then I can kind of keep myself accountable. So even the times where I'm like, I'm clearly not doing well, I
Yeah.
can at least be like, you know what? I'm not doing as bad as I think I'm doing.
Yeah.
And at least I can always have this mental thing like, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's what I need to do.
Right.
But yeah, it's it's hard. I think we all have the best of intentions of being like, yeah, it's a new year. We want to be completely different people and excel and be better.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think as part of being people, I think that's pretty normal. I think everyone strives to, be better,
Mm-hmm.
whether that will be health, sports, anything.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do better, but hmm, I think we always have to remember the mental cost that's going to be
Right.
of like trying to overexert yourself or be like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm going to do this at X amount of time. Listen, if that works for you, cool beans, but you also have to accept what works for the individual person.
Yeah, exactly. And just blah, 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 blah. and and just
Sorry, we were too serious. Need a little silliness,
yeah, right. uh I think in just like
balance.
checking in with yourself too, and like figuring out, is this actually like what I want to do, or am I feeling pressured to do it, is a good
Yeah.
thing to like remind yourself of too, because I feel like, again,
Hmm.
I know I myself tend to like get really swayed or like influenced sometimes by what I see on like Instagram and like
Hmm.
Facebook and internet and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, so this is what I should be doing. And then I'll like try it and I'm like, but I don't like it. Like, I don't know, it's not working for me. And just kind of reminding myself, being like, well, hey, just because it's not working for me doesn't mean I'm there's anything wrong with me, or
Yeah.
that like it's just either A, it just doesn't work for me and I need to figure out what works for me, or just remind myself that, hey, what do I want to do? Don't listen to what everybody else is telling you to do. Do what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you gotta change nothing about you, girl. You're the best. You're the
Right
best
back at
girly.
you.
Yeah, it's tough. And I think especially like again, I don't know who started this stream, like because I actually would be interested of the origins of like why we do this. Because obviously it has to come from something,
Yeah.
like what the origin is of like, hey, it's the new year, you need to be better.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I would just say, like you said, it ebbs and flows. So yeah, if you try really hard, but by February you're like, oh, I'm getting burnt out, just take a quick break. Because guess what? You have a whole fucking year. It is
Yeah.
a-okay.
Or
And also
yeah.
the rest of your fucking life. It's
Yeah.
a-okay.
Or just kind of like you said, just remind yourself constantly that life ebbs and flows, life is ever changing. So trying to define your year when maybe you're not in the best headspace at the beginning of the year, or just
Mm-hmm.
trying to define your life a year from now, it's hard to
Yeah.
do. Like, why not just kind of, it sounds cliche, but it's like just kind of go with the flow of life, but still, you know, explore, like figure out what interests
Yeah.
you, figure out what you think you can handle doing, as far as
Mm-hmm.
like, what you have the capacity to do right now, and maybe what areas you feel like you can start to improve in your life if you feel you need to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think this was a weird episode. I apologize, but listen, new year, new us. We're gonna talk
Yeah,
about whatever the fuck we want. So
right?
so thank you for listening us to rant about our New Year's. I guess I think we already said we haven't said in the other episode. Happy New Year's, everybody.
Yeah, happy new year.
And yeah, do you guys have any New Year's goals or resolutions or just something overall you want to improve on this year? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you have any tips, because we would love to hear it. We're
Yes.
clearly not experts, and I'm always open to hearing what other people have to say.
Yep.
If you can like when we do our random talks, consider leaving us a little likesy and maybe subscribe to two pretty cool gals on the internet. We promise we won't always we're gonna talk about movies, all right?
Oh yeah.
Although I won't lie, I definitely could not think of a single thing I watched, and then I remember
I know.
halfway through I watched Pokemon Concierge, which was adorbs.
Nice.
Anyways, watch all the content, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Monkey, monkey.
Monkey.
Oh, slap that bitch.